Here we go. And boop, 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 boop. Hi, everybody. It's me, Jennifer from Little Metal Foxes. And here we go. And I've got Helen
Julia from Little Metal Foxes.
and Helen down in Sydney.
Hello.
Hello there. Hi. There we go. Let's see, giving Valerie a heads up that we're here. So he was like, tell me when you go live. So we're live, Valerie. Here we
We're
are.
live. We're here.
So anywho, hey everybody. So when we're soldering our jewelry together and doing some cool things, every now and then we need something, you need use flux to make your solder flow beautifully, to protect your metal. But sometimes, just sometimes, you need something that is going to stop that solder from reflowing onto something or someplace where you don't want it so that you can heat it up again and not make a huge mess or have things fall apart. This, my friends, is called anti-flux. Not like Uncle Flux, but anti-flux.
Anti-flux. Bada bing, bada boom.
So, yes. So, what I know, Julia, you've got something you like to use as an anti-flux. What have you got?
Well, I have used whiteout. And per the recommendation of Charles Luton Brain, who had apparently, but he was particularly all about the whiteout for copies because apparently that stuff is water-based and so it was less toxic. You can't get that anymore because nobody uses whiteout anymore, right? And so I actually don't even know what the sort of the circumstances are around using whiteout these days
Yeah.
because I'm sure it has polymers in it,
Yeah.
and
This is
alcohols and stuff.
Yeah, this is definitely a contemporary whiteout. So you can get it with like rubber cement has like low odor rubber cement, and you can get the whiteout that is that's low odor water based as well.
Yeah,
And
I think if you can find one that's water-based, you're in
yeah,
better shape,
yeah,
right?
right.
But the last time I looked, is that one water-based? Does it
This
have
one
water in the in
is,
the
I think,
in the
alcohol
ingredients?
based. Yeah, and it says really particularly keep it away from flames and don't inhale it. So,
Hmm. Right.
so
So that's the thing. I've stopped using the whiteout as anti-flux because I just can't get the one that I had some level of confidence wouldn't hurt me.
yeah,
If you're going to use it, like with anything in the studio, good ventilation,
yeah,
you know.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Um, and I don't use anti-flux a lot. Um, but I got some Amacoat, which is essentially for coating the back of large enamel pieces to keep them from sticking to the shelf in the kiln.
Mhm.
And I think it's the same stuff as like Scalex. I think it's basically very fine ball clay that it's clay. It smells like mud,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
very, very, very fine particles, like super fine.
yeah. And
Um,
Rhonda Corel has one that's called
the
soft.
masking mud and the masking mud that Rhonda Coriel sells is in fact Amacoat. Because if you look at the SDS from the masking mud, it says right there on it that it's Amacoat.
Okay,
However, and I don't feel bad about, messing up her business because Amacoat isn't making it anymore.
right,
So it's like if you try to find masking mud, nobody has it because,
right.
or they just have maybe a little bit from backstock.
Yeah, but you
Um,
can you can get ball clay, slip clay, stuff like that from ceramic supply places,
right.
and similar things from uh, enamel supply places as well.
I
So
suspect that what's called scalex, because it's to keep the scale from forming, it's to prevent the oxides from forming on the back of like big steel pieces. Like if you're doing
right.
big enameled steel wall pieces, you
Yeah,
paint scalex on the back to keep the heat from causing oxides on the back. And I'm
right.
suspecting that scalex is, if not identical, at least very similar
It's
to the
similar,
Amacoat because they
but
were both used for the same purpose.
you can use, just clay. You can use a slip clay, which works fine. Traditionally in metalsmithing, one of the things that's usually used is yellow ochre.
And
And
why yellow ochre as opposed to, I don't know,
Probably
other things?
non-reactive.
it's non-reactive. It doesn't do anything to anything. I mean, it's just basically just a plain pigment. And you can buy it at just about any art supply store that has, raw pigments, or pottery supplies or, places like that. And in fact, I got mine at the art supply store, and it's just natural earth pigment, yellow ochre, like that. And this was what, $6.50. And this is like a lifetime supply for any
Oh
job.
my God, I have a little bottle like this that, I never
Yeah.
use because it's such a mess to apply it,
Right?
right? That is one of
Well,
the problems is that you have to mix it up and, have a little brush and it's a mess. But
so
you have a solution for that,
no
don't
more.
you?
No more. So yeah, when you've got it kind of like in a little tray like this and you're adding water and like splishing it on places, it's hard to get a lot of control over that. However, and you know what? The other one that you can use, Rio makes one, another one that is a no flow kind of a stop flow
Hmm.
for solder as well. That is almost like it's like milk of magnesia. Somebody told me that you can actually use because it has kaolin clay in it. It's basically kaolin clay, kaopectate, kaopectate. Yeah, that's what it is. It has the kaolin because it's kaopectate.
Yeah, kaopectate.
Yeah, it's kaopectate. That you can actually use as an anti-flux as well. But Helen, what's your solution?
Oh, sorry. I don't know. Is this what you were talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, so you've got the you both use graphite, you were saying
Well,
too.
actually, I've never used it, but I got this just in case I ever needed it. It is the high purity graphite. I specifically looked for it when at the art store slash bookstore, um, so that if I needed it, I would have it on hand.
Yeah.
Right. It's
Now
one of
you have
those
to be
things.
careful about apparently you have to be careful about your graphite leads. You have to make sure that it is graphite and not a polyester blend, basically, or something like that.
Polymer blend, yeah.
Right.
Polymer.
Especially for that can cause all kinds of problems in casting. I've seen people use things
Yeah, because
for
it's just
supporting it and
plastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
anyway, but
Yeah. Rio has sorry, I was just looking it up. Rio No Flow Anti-Flux Powder. Um, it's yellow ochre powder.
oh,
Mixed No Flow, yeah, it's branded yellow ochre. And
okay.
then they have another one which is a liquid,
It's the green one.
which is the Stop Flow Anti-Flux Liquid, which is probably what you're
That's
thinking
yeah,
about.
that's a pre-mix thing. And it's really blended smooth. It works really well, I have to say. But
Okay.
when we have to lay it down and put it specifically where we want it, Helen, tell me about this watercolor pen.
So these are really cool. Um, they are basically uh, it has a reservoir for water, and then you would then just uh, apply the water to your palette and then to your paper to pick up color. And so the idea is that it's very portable and easy to use. That you have a slightly less equipment that you take when you're doing like plein air or if you're traveling. Um,
So that
and
it just
so
unscrews on that one and
yeah, so the it just unscrews to fill the reservoir.
mhm,
And I actually got this idea from somebody else I saw that I follow on Instagram, I believe,
mhm.
and to put my liver of sulfur in here.
Ah,
Um, so then I can, do like, because when I make my little flower petal pins from PMC,
mhm.
not flower powder, but flowers. Then I can paint in like I'm painting the dark areas of the flower to give it more visual dimension.
Hmm.
Right, right. So
But
you
without
basically
darkening the whole piece, so that you're not
Correct.
immersing the whole piece and making the whole thing dark.
right.
Correct.
So you can fill it with your patina. You can fill it
Yes.
with your anti-flux, or you can fill it with water and use it to pick up dust like the yellow ochre, which works
Yeah.
really, really well. So in mine, I actually put in a mix of the water and the yellow ochre. And I'm going to go over here and I'll
And
show.
I'm impressed that the wick in those things is able to draw. I'm impressed that the particles of the yellow ochre are small enough that the wick is able to draw it through. Because
Yeah.
clearly it is, because I can
Oh,
see
yeah.
that the brush part is yellow.
Well, and it's you kind of have to give it a little squeeze, and there we go. So if my metal was clean,
You're a
it
little out of
would
focus
right
there.
there. There we go. It's hard to see it with the glare on that. There we go. So yeah, but it does on clean metal, this is not completely clean, but this does give me, really precise control. And I can pick up just a little bit of yellow ochre and deposit it a little bit thicker where I need it with really nice, small, tight little Japanese brush.
Hmm.
So it works like a little sumi brush, and it's so nice. Because when I was working on something like I had to solder this little thing together, and on the
Mm.
underside it's soldered, but I didn't want all this solder to come undone, and I didn't want all the petals to stick together. So each one of those had to be, covered with a little thin layer of the anti-flux,
Wow.
just to make sure that it wasn't, you know, gonna solder those parts together
Hmm.
inadvertently. But yeah, so you can have like a little bit there and kind of put it where you need it. Some people like to mix in a little bit of like gum tragacanth with it. I just filled it, so I'm
That makes sense.
easy. Put a little gum tragacanth or Arabic in it, and that you can also get from the art supply stores. It's usually used for thickening your watercolors or inks or printmaking stuff.
Hmm.
So there we go. But it's a really nice way to sort of help that stuff stay in suspension in the water, so it doesn't
And
get too,
stick
yeah,
probably to,
and
yeah.
stick to what you're doing it to. And that stuff burns off really cleanly. So, and it's basically a food product. So mixing in a little gum arabic or gum tragacanth is basically a thickening agent that you would find in like you probably could find it in at the grocery store, I would think too.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
used well, I'm guessing hide glue would work for this purpose too, because I've used gum tragacanth and gum arabic as vegan alternatives to using hide glue to make the liquid to attach granules,
Yeah.
right? Because you have to have some organic binder that when it burns off, it makes a reducing environment around the granules.
Yeah.
So if for vegans, they don't want to use hide glue, but or vegetarians, so they can use gum tragacanth or gum arabic. But
Right.
if you do granulation and you have hide glue in your studio, you could try mixing a little bit of the hide glue,
Hmm.
make a really thin solution of that to put with your yellow ochre to see if
Yeah.
it can help it stick
Well,
better, because
and
that's part of the problem is that it'll ball up off of where it needs to be, and it's like, God damn it, it's
yeah.
not sticking.
Oh, and maybe you could also use clear fire since that's used in enamel.
Yeah. Yeah, to make
Mhm.
it a little bit more, yeah, to give it a little more
Yeah.
suspension. It really does help in terms of like how it lays down and creating a uniform consistency,
Mhm.
so it doesn't
Mhm.
just settle out of the water. So it just helps it keep it suspended in the water, keeps it
That
mixed.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the gum tragacanth mixes in beautifully, and gum arabic if you can get your hands on that too. They
I
just
wonder if
xanthan gum, yeah.
xanthan would
Yep.
work.
Xanthan gum would work as well. Yeah, any of
Mhm.
those would work as a good suspension to keep it in suspension. So yeah, keep it in suspense. Bum bum bum. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, so there you go.
So many puns today.
Yes, I know, right? So the nice thing is once that dries, it's you don't have to worry about it spattering and getting on your areas where you are soldering. So you just kind of let it
Mhm.
dry, and then it's water soluble. It comes right off. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's
The
one of the
one downside is that if you're trying to protect a solder operation that's close to another one that you're trying to do, if you put flux on there that has water in it, it will, like your anti-flux has dried. This was one of the upsides of the whiteout,
yeah,
right? Because it didn't
it's waterproof.
soften and dissolve in water the
Yeah,
same way that the yellow ochre or the amacote or the scalex all will,
Yeah.
because they're all water based.
Yeah.
So,
And the thing
if you're
about the
trying to do
water
two
too.
things really close together and you get some of the water from your flux on your anti-flux, then you've contaminated your flux, and then, you probably better need to just clean everything and start over.
Yeah. And you do not want to get anti-flux in your flux.
Because it's dirt.
Yep.
And so the flux is like, and the flux doesn't care, but the solder will be like, no, it's dirt.
Do you
I'm
want
too
me to flow?
prissy.
Do you not want me to flow? What are you asking me to
What do you
do?
want me to do? I don't know what to do. And
Yeah,
then it will just flow where you don't want it to go, because that's, of course, what solder always does.
exactly right.
Yeah.
All right, ladies. Good. Thank you
Okay.
both. Yeah. Good
Those are
stuff.
Yay.
cool. Now I need to get me some of those.
Yeah, I love these things. And the pins aren't expensive. I know you got,
No, you can get cheap knockoff versions. This is a brand name because I got the watercolor set, so I got this free. But you can easily find these at Michael's, Dick Blick, Amazon, whatever.
yeah,
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
yeah, I
Just a
got this
picture of
from
the
the
cat.
local corner art supply place. It's like small
It's
business
Mary.
here in Ballard. Yeah. All right, everybody. Have a great week.
And
If you
here's your obligatory cat moment.
it is a YouTube channel after all.
It is a
Yes, I
YouTube
was trying
channel.
to keep her from mauling my books over here.
It's a
So
lost cause, my dear. They're her
make sure
I
you
books.
know.
hit
They're
that
her
like
books.
button. Did you hit the like button, everybody? Go down there and hit the like button.
They did.
There
They
we go.
like you.
I like it too. So, yep, I like to see the like buttons. Make sure you ring the bell and subscribe and all the good stuff. And we will see you next time on Tooltip Tuesday. And we've got lots to watch them
Yay!
all. Bye, everybody.
Mary's tail.